Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. As mentioned in the daily financial news, it is Wednesday, and you know what that means. We bring on the legendary investor, Anna, REI mom, Kelly. How you doing, Anna?
I am doing great, especially after that great introduction. Always good to be with you. It puts a smile on my face.
Awesome. And the audience loves you. They give great comments. Folks, do me a favor. If you love Anna giving us some time every Wednesday, give her a shout out, some applause, thumbs up below, just so she can see them and keep coming back every week. So thanks for that. I
Sure.
want to talk about your biggest deal ever that you're going to do solo, coming back to you after you let it go. So that's a fun story.
It is a fun story. So, I've done large multifamily deals. I mean, our largest deal was an $80 million deal, right?
Woo!
But it was syndicated. So with lots of investors. So when you're a general partner, you get a piece of that, which is really nice. And I've done some joint ventures, up to $10 million deals with three total partners. So we've done some bigger deals, but in terms of my own properties that I'm just buying for my own portfolio, my largest deal was about $1.5 million.
Okay.
To date. So, the last couple of years, they've been in that, 725 to $1.5 million range pretty consistently because I'm doing smaller multi-units, right?
Yep.
So this deal, the purchase price is about 2.6 million.
Whoa.
It's a 20 unit.
Okay.
So it's 130,000 a door, which is quite expensive for my area, but it's still an amazing deal. And so this property came up, Michael. It's in a beautiful part of central Pennsylvania, and it's 5 fourplexes on one big parcel. So they're like in a row.
Yeah.
And so they look like they're brick. They're 4 units per building, and they're in a really pretty kind of wooded area. Really nice parking. And what's interesting is even though they were built in the late 70s, they all have central air and heat, which is central air and gas heat. So they have heat pumps, and I think some gas. And that's rare in our area for that vintage. Most of them don't have air conditioning. So the fact that they have AC, they're older, they're in a really quiet wooded area that people want to live in and super close to the med center. And a lot of jobs means it's an area where I'm going to have no problems getting tenants for a long time. So when I saw this property pop up, I'm like, this one's a legacy property, to pass on to my kids that they can own basically in our backyard. And so I wanted it, right?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. We learn never fall in love with a property. And it's usually pretty easy for me not to fall in love with a property, right? But there's the few, the beach house in Florida, the beach house in Ocean City that I'm like, ooh,
I like that. That's pretty.
The butterflies are going a little bit, right? Well, This is one of those because I know this is a property that my family would keep in our family for a couple of decades, probably at least, right?
Yep.
So I thought, I want it. I've got the money for it, but $130,000 a door in my area is really top dollar for, properties right now. Across the country, it's not, but it's top dollar. So I wasn't sure that it would appraise. And so that's part of the deal. I had to be willing to, if it doesn't appraise, come out of pocket, maybe a couple $100,000 to get the deal done.
Right.
And once you come out of pocket a couple $100,000 on a $2 million deal, your returns just start going down. And so then the question is, well, if I go to a top number just because I'm willing to pay it, I'm happy with the returns, but I could put my money elsewhere into something less expensive, less money out, my return would be better somewhere else, right? So this property was listed at 2.3 million. Those in my area are going to know exactly where it is, right? It was listed for 2.3. And ultimately, they came back to me as the final, they're like, at 2.8, the deal is yours.
Only 20% more on them.
I was the first offer on the first day, full price, right? Didn't get it done because they know that this market, they can get more money. And that's exactly what happened. So they waited like 2 weeks to keep it listed before they would be willing to accept my offer. And by then a couple cash buyers came in about $500,000 more than what they listed it for. So significantly more. Yeah. So my top dollar, I'm just going to be real with numbers, right? I'm under contract. So we'll tell you where it is. So my top dollar was 2.5 million.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not paying a penny over that. And that's like top dollar, right? Where the interest rates were, that was my number. They came back and asked me before it went to another cash offer if I'd go 50 grand over that. I said, no, because that was it. That was it. And I knew I had the chance of losing it, but you have to hold firm when you know your numbers, right?
Right.
So I lost the deal and I was really irritated. I'm like, man.
So let's put a timeline on this. So this came out the first time probably 60 days ago.
Yes,
roughly.
About
60 days.
I do remember that. I was at the beach.
Okay. So 60 days, you put in first day, they wait 2 weeks, a little bit of negotiations. You're probably into this deal time-wise, 3 weeks, maybe 25 days. You're the last two offers. They want you to have it, but ask for 50K more. You go, nope, 2.5 was it. I'm done.
Yep.
You think it's gone. So somebody else gets it.
Yes.
Then they do what they do, right? They probably have their inspections. Maybe cash isn't cash. Who knows? Right?
Yes.
And something didn't work out.
Yes. And I actually know what it was. I mean, I don't want to say too much because
that's fine.
Locally people will know what property it is, but it had nothing to do with the property. So, the buyer that had it under contract at the end of their 30-day due diligence period before money went hard, they pulled the deal. And so this was not their market. They're investing in other markets. And so this was kind of a small deal in a new market to them. And
I love that 2.6 or 2.7 is a small deal to someone in a new market. That just feels funny to me.
It does. It does. So I thought it's funny. I looked at it a couple of times and I thought I should call him and just see.
Yeah.
It's still going through. But I thought, no, I'm not, I'm moving on. But I will tell you, there were 2 nights that I could not sleep.
Wow.
And I was like, man, I wish I would have bought that deal for 50K more. I would have had it, for 50K. I was stubborn. That's what we tell ourselves, right?
Sure. Yeah.
No matter how long you've been doing this, you're still going to second guess yourself sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, man, for 50,000, I let it go. So, but I also was proud of myself for holding firm and not getting emotional. So anyway, I got the call at the end of last week. Hey, you're not going to believe this, but the deal fell through. Do you want it at my last highest and best? So I said, yeah, I'm going to buy it
at 2.5.
Well, that was my highest and best, right?
Right.
Well, at 2.5, they came back and interest rates dropped. So I redid my numbers. I did hold firm, but I said, if this falls through, I want to be the backup bidder, right?
Sure.
So I landed, Michael, 100,000 over my offer. So I gave it up for 50 more. I just bought it for 2.6, but rates went down.
Okay.
So when he called me and we're like, I know there's 2 other backup bidders. I was the first one. So they were being courteous to give me the first shot back before they called the other 2. And I knew where they were. So I'm like, 2.6, called the lender. My rate is better than what it would have been a month ago.
That's nice.
And I got a huge refi done in the time that it would have been complicated to get my beach house done, my refi done, and this property all at once could have been an issue.
Yeah.
So it worked out well that I got the other 2 deals behind me.
Nice.
Now I just have this one. So I went 100,000 over my top number.
Okay.
But at a better rate. And here's the thing. I have 2 years interest only financing.
Nice.
And that makes my payment very low the first 2 years while I'm updating all the units because they need to be updated and brought to market. Rents are significantly below.
Okay.
And my personal cash on cash return. So even going, 100,000 more than I wanted to, my personal cash on cash return for my money down, because I'm getting 15% down financing.
Oh, wow.
2 years interest only. I love my bank.
I was going to say, most investors, folks, are not going to get a 15 down. Only if you're experienced, relationship, all that. Most of you would be putting 25 or 30% down on this.
Yes. And if you go Fannie or Freddie, it's at least 25% down too, because this is a very small market, probably 30.
Probably 30, yeah.
When you have small local lenders that you do business with over and over again, and they know you're doing deals where you can get interest only, 30-year, amortization and 10 years fixed, they're willing to be more flexible.
Nice.
So the financing makes my personal cash on cash return. If I have it with a management company and I'm not managing it, 22% on my money.
Oh,
cash on cash.
Just so everybody knows, I would do this deal every day. 22%, my market, my average yield in my market, 6. 22 is a great deal. And as I always say, Anna, it's a great deal. It's a great day to buy a great deal. That's what Sunny says.
It is. Hi, Sunny. Oh, you have Happy and Sunny.
I do. Look at these paws. They're just so cute.
Oh,
They got like
so
socks
sweet.
on. It's fun. Anyway.
Oh, so sweet. Yes. And, it's one of those things where when I saw this, I knew this was a great deal
Right.
in terms of my return on my cash. Now, if you just look at price, and this is where people make a mistake, they see this market and they think everything's overpriced. The price is crazy.
It's not.
And then they just don't make offers, right? And even I had this battle with myself of, man, this price per door is way more than they were 2 years ago. To give you an idea, I bought a 10 unit for $70 a door 2 years ago, right? Yeah. This is a little nicer market, little nicer school district, but it's quite high.
Yeah, that's
right?
a jump. Yeah.
It is. But the market now is, there's a lot of demand, a lot of people moving in, and there's a shortage of housing. And that's part of it, again, which we're seeing in a lot of states. While some areas were kind of in hyper supply, there's still a housing shortage. And so where this is a strong B+ to A- area.
What I like to do with folks, just, the Monopoly board, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? Where would you put it on the Monopoly board? What color?
I'd put it probably
like yellow or like the dark orange?
Yellow or green.
Okay.
I've played Monopoly my whole life, but I'm trying to remember where. It's not quite blue.
Right. So it's not the dark below Park Place. Yellow's up here.
Yeah. It's probably, it's yellow, green, and blue, I think. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty high.
There. Oh yeah. That's a B+ for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the homes, the single family homes in the area are, 400,000 to $1 million.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
So, and I can get $1,200 to $1,400 a month rents.
So what are the configs? So 12 to 1,400, is that like a 3, 1.5, or what do we got?
2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment.
Oh my goodness. 2 ones wow.
Yes.
And they're all the same. You got 22 ones.
They're all the same. Yeah.
Carports or garages or?
None. Nope.
None. Street parking.
Just off street parking. There is private parking. It's
right. Okay.
in a tucked back private little area.
Okay.
So it feels very much like a private residential area, not like a big complex.
Okay.
It's off the main road. And so, my rent upside is really good. And part of why I worried about the appraisals, because right now rents are significantly below where they should be. So apartments are valued. Yes, you can look at price per door, but you look at the net income that it's currently producing. And if rents are really low, it may not appraise as high as it should if the rents were where they should be. And Absolutely. So, when it came down to it, even though the price per door was a little higher, when I looked at what else I could buy, I have found nothing else that produces a 22% cash on cash return. And
shocking.
If I hold it for 10 years with a modest, get the rents where they need to be within 2 years, probably within a year and a half, and just a 3% increase in rents every year and a 3% increase in expenses, my total return if I sold should be about 75% annualized. Annualized.
Wow.
So this is an amazing deal.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm absolutely thrilled.
Very
it's
cool.
a really, really good one. But the lessons here, we always like to talk about lessons. Don't get emotional about a property. Don't get emotional. You have to have a top dollar and be willing to walk away. And I did, and it came back. This is the 3rd time that I've walked away from a deal and it's come back.
Yeah.
I wish it was everyone that I lost. It's not, but it does happen. Right.
And it's enough to be interesting. Yes.
It's enough to be interesting. And so I've learned, at a certain number, you walk away. When it comes back to you, you go, okay, there's a reason this is coming back to me.
Yeah.
Let's look at the numbers. Let's really hone in the pencil. And the other thing is I tend to be really conservative on my underwriting. A lot of people say they are, but they're not. Right.
Yeah.
But if I know I can get 1,300, I'll say I can get to 12 in 4 years. Right. So I know I can probably push it, but I just want to look at like really conservative. Let's say rents go down.
Yeah.
I still put my vacancy higher than what I know my area is. So I was like, I am being ultra conservative. Let's be realistic what I really think I can do and where's my number. And I could have paid more than I did. So
where are rents today? I'm going to guess. So if you say market's 1,200, are they like 800, 900? Where are they today?
Less.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to hurt your NOI. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where the interest only comes into play,
Of
you know,
course.
as a multifamily investor. And interest only can be a dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing, right? You don't want to buy deals only if they pencil it interest only.
That's not a good
Like,
idea.
I would still cash flow if I was paying principal day one, you know, so, but the interest only definitely gives you that time to have a lower payment while you're updating rents and turning, you know, units. So that makes it really good. And, you know, just be conservative on your underwriting and look at what else you could buy. You know, that's the real issue is if you get on the dollar per door, you're going to pass. People did pass on this deal because of the price per door. But when you look at what the real costs are and your true net operating income, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, one of the things I bought plenty of buildings where the rents, I bought a couple of buildings back in 11, 12 that were half of the market. So what my experience doing that is you're going to actually have to recycle kind of two sets of tenants, right? Everybody thinks you're going to go from whoever's there to like market, but at least in my world, I had to go to the middle ground and then to market because you can't mix this one with, you know, half the audience here. You got to meet in the middle. So that was my experience.
Yeah. I mean, our market it's so high demand and so little supply that I turn one unit. In fact, there's a real similar unit that I'm turning right now that people live there for years and their rent on a townhouse, very similar to these units was, you know, like 7 or 8 and I bumped them to 11 and they moved.
Okay.
I'll get 1,300.
There you go.
So we're replacing floors and paint and it'll go straight to 1,300. So it's easy to do in my market. Not always, you know, but yeah. So it's like you say, it's never a bad day to do a great deal. And I've learned to say no to a lot of mediocre deals. And when you learn to say no to mediocre and you hold on for the really great,
awesome,
you won't lose, you know?
Yeah. Don't do average deals, folks. You don't, you can't get very far doing average or mediocre deals. Hold out, the deals will come, keep doing the work. So Anna, how can people follow you, get part of your world? Because this has been a lot of fun.
Great. You can follow me at greaterpurposecapital.com or on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Anna REI Mom Kelly.
Thank you very much. Look forward to topic number 2.
Thank you.